with last year's performances estimates, showing a 4.5% growth for emerging economies, including African nations. We have details in the CFI report.
The annual Davos Forum in Switzerland is cautiously optimistic that the worst of the world financial crisis is over and the global economy might have turned a corner, while the outlook in Europe and the United States is less positive. Elsewhere, emerging economies are boosting growth. In 2012, these new economies grew on average by 4.5%, and these include African nations.
I think there's evidence that Africa is growing. There's also evidence that African leaders have collectively come together to do things that is going to make Africa to move forward.
There are big disparities between different countries on the African continent. English-speaking countries are showing the best results so far. Banking services are growing, and there are more free trade zones.
We are looking forward to having this commodities exchange. It has an approach to serving the East African community as a whole.
Economic growth in Africa looks as if it is long-term. This is partly thanks to a high demand for raw materials, especially from China. African heads of state also point to good governance in a number of countries, which is one way of reminding investors that Africa is an increasingly safe destination that is increasingly profitable.
Well, from that, we go with our second break. We'll be right back.
Very nice country.
Catching the sun.
Just sitting here doing nothing.
This is precisely what you've been looking for. A vacation in some exotic destination. Green and always sunny, amid ever blue skies, navigable rivers, and clean white beaches. Begging for a lazy day, you gotta be in the destination which brings together all these qualities. It's 2013 and time to experience the ultimate break, savoring moments that will stay with you forever. Discover the characterful delight of this smiling coast on the expedition with me, Ibrahim Ajata, at this time on GRTS.
Well, over now to sports. The technically superior Bafana of South Africa secured an early victory against Angola after defender Siyabonga Sangweni gave the host country a superb 30-minute lead. Majoro added a second to give the South Africans clear victory, and first-timers Cape Verde sustained an impressive performance in the tournament after securing a 1-0 draw against much-fancied Morocco.
Their fans were enthusiastically waiting for a victory, and they were not disappointed. The South African team dominated their match with Angola. Technically superior, the Bafana took the lead in the 30th minute of the game with a superb goal from Sangweni. With its weak defense, Angola was quickly overwhelmed. In the second half, Majoro doubled the goal count for South Africa. Final score 2-0 for the Bafana. Cape Verde continued to surprise everyone with their performance in the tournament. They were swift and comfortable in their game against Morocco. Platini scored Cape Verde's first ever goal in the history of the Africa Cup of Nations. Morocco responded at the very end of the match. El Arabi scored the equalizer after a spectacular control of the ball 15 minutes before the end of the game. Morocco succeeded in keeping the score at 1-1. So in Group A, South Africa takes the lead with their 2-0 score, a great showing for the host country, which brings it closer to the quarterfinals.
Well, from sports, a reminder of our top stories before we go. President Jammeh has joined scores of Muslims to mark the birth of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. 15 personnel of the Gambia Armed Forces have concluded a week-long training in skydiving and parachute jumping. Human rights groups have accused Malian soldiers of alleged reprisal attacks and summary executions of Tuaregs and Arabs, an accusation vehemently denied by the Malian army. And U.S. lawmakers have quizzed Hillary Clinton on the Benghazi attacks on the U.S. consulate, which claimed the lives of 4 Americans, including Ambassador Christopher Stevens. Well, that seems to be all in this edition of the news. Thanks for watching and have a good weekend.
Seize the day. Seize the day. A compelling blend of drama, passion, and misery. Luciana is young, beautiful, and rich. Her moments are fun and never-ending. But a close look reveals an insensitive and envious girl. Being a spoiled model, Luciana's envy of supermodel Helena extends beyond the catwalk.
Are you okay?
Get away from me. You must be happy with what happened. It's a curse. You've cast a curse on me. Oh my God!
Helena meets, falls in love, and marries Luciana's father, Marcus.
Dad!
Dad?
I just can't believe it.
I'm starting to think this is a trap.
Oh, look! The young lady is walking into the lion's den and thinks she's in a church.
I didn't know he was your father.
Can you hear me? Get out! Or else I will run over you! Run over you!
I want to see that.
Luciana's selfish life is the synthesis of everyone around her, until a fatality changes the scene completely. In Seize the Day, Manuel Carlos tells stories of survival with delicacy, sophistication, and sensibility. It is about rediscovering ourselves, about moments when we find the strength to get up. The theme, therefore, is to seize the day, because life is worth living. Sponsors invited for this captivating blockbuster. For details, contact Grts Marketing.
2, 3, and go!
Seize the day.
إن الحمد لله وبه نستعين ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا